Welcome to Images in Illustrator. My name is Arnold Faller and I'm going to show you a few things that you can do to images beside placing them and rotating them and so on. If you are completely new to Illustrator, I would recommend you to use or to start with part 1 of this series. I'm going to put the link on the top right here. So we're going to start with starting a new document, file, new, and I'm going to choose an A4 landscape piece of paper. So here it is, A4 landscape, and it's just about images, so I'm going to start right away with placing an image. You go to File, Place, and you choose an image. I already mentioned it in part 1. There's a difference between linking an image and not. If you don't link it, the image will be included into the Illustrator document. If you link it, it will only be linked into the document, which means if the picture gets lost, you lose it. If something gets changed to the image, the changes will be loaded. There's also a slight limit on linked images, so if you linked an image, then you might not be able to do all operations in Illustrator. But let's just include it as we try to do a few things with our picture. And I hit place, and I just drag and change and include it in my layout. The size of the picture, let's do a brief recap of what is possible. The size of, when you select your image with the selection tool, then you see the size of the image as well as the position. That is the size of the image here and the position in the top row. Oh, sorry. In the other video, I used a different different user interface. The essential user interface, which is template for the new Illustrator, doesn't have the column here on the top. It only has the properties on the right side. But if you change your Essentials to Essentials Classic, you also get this line. And I think it's quite handy to have this line. I just found that out recently. If you don't have it, you'll miss it. So here's the size. So as well, here's the size and also the position relative to the top left corner of your picture. So that said, then the next thing is I would like, if you don't need the whole picture, I usually would do that in Photoshop. If I, for example, need a square picture and cropping it to a certain extent, you can do it in Photoshop, but you can also crop an image here. So here's a crop function. You can also do crop image here on the right side or crop image up here. Basically, it will allow you to drag a frame, let's say here. You can also define the size of the frame if you need it exactly to be square or something, a certain aspect ratio, and then you hit apply. The thing is, once you do the crop image and then you want the whole image back, there's no way back unless you hit undo. That's why I'm going to hit undo. And I'm going to show you a different way to crop an image that I usually prefer. I never ever used the crop image here. I usually do it in a different way with a clipping mask. So a clipping mask basically means you need a picture. Let me get that a little bit. Oh, sorry. I missed the key. So here's the picture. And now I'm going to use any shape file. You can use a shape file, but I'm going to start with a simple rectangle. And now, if I want, for example, a square picture just of the deer's head, then I would create a rectangle, a square, any shape or form. In this case, I'm not going to choose a fill color, but I'm going to choose a stroke color different than white. So any other stroke color is fine. And this rectangle I'm now placing on top of the area that I want to keep. So you can also scale it, resize it, scale it, and so on. So let's just focus on one of the ears. Missed it. So let's just focus on the small one. here is the picture. So I place a frame of any shape, and then I select the shape and the picture together. So I'm going to draw a frame from the right side, so selecting both elements. And then I choose right click and I choose clipping mask. The clipping mask will automatically clip everything outside the shape. And now I have the picture clipped is the same way as I've used the crop mask. The big advantage is if I want to undo it, I can also change the size of my, oh sorry, that was scaling. If I want to undo the clipping, I simply select the clipped picture, do a right click and choose release clipping mask, and the original picture will be back. The only problem is the shape that I have created here, it stays invisible, so it doesn't have any fill or stroke color. So if you want it back, you have to make it, give it a stroke color or a fill color. So that is a good thing. It doesn't matter if the shape is on top or on the bottom. You just have to select them both together. It also doesn't matter if it's a rectangular or you can use any other shape. So let's just go for any shape here. So there it is. Select both the picture and the shape, right click and clipping mask. And here's my picture clipped. So that is if you want to adjust it to something specific, if you want to make it fit to a text or any other graphic element, this is a perfect way to shape or shape your picture. Then, so that is much better than the way for cropping it. Let's go for release clipping mask and delete the shape. That also works in combination with text, and that offers a whole new possibility. For example, I'm going to bring in another image, file, place. Here's a picture of Miami at night. The only one that was royalty free I found. So take this one and now you place text on top. Let me move it out of the way quickly. So I'm going to place text on top and I'm going to write Miami and use the font, use a thick font style, so maybe use the Arial black and also scale it up, of course. And now I'm going to place it above the picture and scale it even more. I'm also going to scale it a little bit unproportional because I want to cover all the colorful buildings in the background. And now yes, I have a shape file and I have a picture. So it's quite simple. Let me quickly get a copy of that. So I have the shape file and I have the picture. I select both, right click and make clipping mask. So I'm going to clip the text clip the picture to the text. I know it's quite hard to see Miami. That helps a bit. For example, if you take another layer here on top, which you, for example, like this, I'm going to use one of the layers, one of the black fonts that I have, right click arrange, and I'm going to send it to the back. So it's the bottom layer. I could also do that in the layer dialog. And now I'm going to place it so it looks a bit like a shadow. That makes it even more like in the 90s Miami Vice style. And here's another one on top that I am going to switch fill and stroke color, which I could place on top of it so that I can even outline the text even more. So that would be a way to create the text style with in combination with the clipping mask. So yes, so you could add something like welcome to. Let me quickly do that. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to add a few more text. So So there it is, for example, something like this. Awful, I know. Okay, so that was the outline together with the text. If you have some kind of, text, that was something. If you have a text element, and let's just hit, let's just add a little more text here. Let's just write, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So something like this. Get it in the same, eyedrop tool like this one. So, and if you for any reason need to alter your text, you can anytime take your text element, make a right click and create outlines. That means it's no longer a text element, but it's just a graphic element that looks like text. So it's basically a group, I guess. Right click, it's a group. So I'm going to hit ungroup there. So now it's single letters. There is some letters that are normal paths. There's some compound path with the holes in it. But if you want to change it now, for example, you want to make certain elements longer, you can use the direct selection tool. Sorry, should have used different layers. The direct selection tool. And, sorry, one more time. Let's get the text a bit down, that I don't select some other elements all the time. For example, you can make the D longer. You can put DF up a bit, or you can, I don't know what, round off that we had here. See? Round some elements, okay? So fill it. Good, so that is once you turn it into simple shapes. That was the compound path, by the way, here, the D, right click, release compound path. That means now the middle, I can take it out. It only cuts a hole when the two shapes are selected together and made a compound path, then it looks like a hole. So here we created a whole new font style just with a few changes to the outlines. Let's try something else with images. Let me, let's just get rid of this and try something else. And that is when you have let's place one of those logo style things here. Oh, let's start with the simple one. Yes. That is a picture of a pictogram of a path. This is, it was a, I don't know, PNG or something, but it was a raster image. So it's still a picture. You can see it when you zoom in, that it obviously is a raster image. It has those staircase edges with anti-aliasing and so on and so on. So what I want to show you is how you turn a raster image into a vector image, so you vectorize it. It's called to trace an image. It doesn't matter what size it has, but let's make a, I want to place, sorry again, I changed the proportions. Let's trace it. There's a few options, so you need to select your image, and then under object you will find image trace. And here's make and make and expand. Please always use make, not make and expand, because make and expand will use the previous settings and create the shape out of it, and you want to adjust those settings. So you use make, and that will give you the top row here. If you don't have the top row open, this is now time to change to the Essential Classic, or you can also open a window and there is an image trace somewhere here, image trace. So now let's pick first, we have a couple of presets. Of course, this is not a high fidelity photo, so that is a black and white image. So in this case, I would probably go for black and white logo. Then you can adjust how many threshold, if it's a grayscale image that you're tracing, like where is the point that it thinks it's black and white, so it's a kind of like levels. You can also define how many corners and so on, but that is all in advanced, even in the basic settings, that is enough just to choose black and white logo. And when you're done, all you need to do is hit expand. And that expand now, the picture is gone and all you have is a vector drawing. So now you have a vector drawing and it is both black and white. So what you need to do is you need to select it with your selection tool, do a right click and ungroup it, because it is a couple of shapes ungrouped. So ungroup it, and you may find, if you look now, it's ungrouped, that there is also some shapes that you don't need. For example, this one. So I'm going to color it in gray. Oh, I chose great. So let's choose a red or so. See, there's one shape outside. So this is something that you don't need. And you have some shapes inside, but you will notice that it actually is twice there. It's once as a piece of white shape, and it's also there as a compound path as a whole. So you just take this piece and move it away. You don't need that. Here's also a piece double, and also the two lights are double. Oops, don't double click. Oh, by the way, if you double click anything, that means it's isolating it. So it just makes everything grayed out, and you can just work with that. To go back, you hit escape or this little arrow up there. Here is my light, and I'm going to remove it. So now what I have is my pure shape as a compound path. It means it's one path of the outline and then a couple of paths creating those holes. You can see that it's a compound path when you select it, and you see there is a release compound path. If I hit release compound path, this part will all turn black. See? Boom. Now they are not cutting holes anymore. Only when they're all selected, right click, make compound path, they're cutting holes. So here it is, my symbol of a bus, ready to use it as a symbol in a map or something like this. You know what? I'm going to keep that. I'm going to put it to my symbols. So here is when I open symbol, I can just take it and pull it in here. I'm going to keep it as a symbol, export type, graphic. It's a static symbol. Okay, so there it is. Let's try it one more time. This time I'll have a picture that is has two colors. We already how it works. You select the picture, you go to Object, Image Trace, and Make. Then you open up the Image Trace panel, and you select what kind of tracing you want. See, the default is black and white, the last one. In this case, I need at least two colors, but better three colors, because it's red, black, and white. So here it is, three colors. And it's analyzing it, getting the red piece, the white pieces, and the black pieces. Okay, that's it. So that's what I want. So now I hit expand, and it will turn it into shapes. So now again it's one piece. Right click, I'm gonna hit ungroup, because I don't need this piece here. Delete. I also don't need what's inside, because no, that's good. I would keep the inside, because maybe I would use it on a different kind of background, and it should stay white. So here's the white piece, the black piece, the red, and here's another black piece. So take all these together, right click, and group it. Now it's also ready to keep it as a symbol. Why is it always moving clip? I don't know what the difference is. So now it's here as a symbol, and you can use it later on. So if you take a picture that has more colors, then you have to play, of course, a little bit and choose how many colors you want to capture. Here is a picture that last one that I want to trace. It's a picture of a motorcycle. Has a lot of grays in here. Select it, go to Object, Image Trace, and Image Trace, and then see it starts with the black and white tracing. If this is what you like, then you're done. But let's just open the panel and find out. So in this case, I think it would be better to use at least 16 colors. So here it is with 16 colors, but still you can see there is a lot of it. Looks very graphic. So if you want more, then you can use even more colors. Let's see whatever we have. We have let's do a low fidelity photo. Okay, low fidelity photo, that was a 20 colors, so not much more. I'm gonna keep that. If you want to clean that up, here is expand. If you want to clean that up, for example, remove the background and keep the rest as a kind of logo thing, you can ungroup it and then select all the elements and delete them. So I'm going to start from the bottom here, and I just take all the stuff that's not needed, and now you can start cleaning up by simply deleting some of the shapes. There's a lot of little grainy stuff here that you need to get rid of. Also, of course, if you have time, you can take those spokes and remove them, clean up the tiny bits here, and also make the space between the spokes transparent. Okay, that was too much. The brake disc was also deleted. Good. So, and now, as you now have a vector drawing, you can, of course, you would then take it and turn it into a group, right-click group, and then you can just resize it, small logos, larger logos, and that can be without a loss of qualities. You can resize it, and you can, instead of having it colorized, you can also use only the outlines here. That was thick outlines, like make thinner outlines. Here it is. You can create all kinds of line art that you want. Okay, so that was a brief overview of some of the possibilities that you can do with images. Of course, most of the effects and things that you apply to images, I would rather do in Photoshop than in Illustrator, so get the ready-made image into Illustrator. But there's also a few things you can do here. Okay, hope you had fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.